Hi there, YouTube. Well, it's my day off, and I figured I would tend to my second generation Tundra. Mine is a 2012. And for any of you guys out there that have this model of Tundra, I'm not sure if it affects the first one, one common thread that you'll find if you just Google it is strange squeaking or rattling sound coming from the dash. Now, I took my truck to the dealership, and they looked around where the dashboard meets the windshield, and they were checking for any gapping or some creaking and everything. And they may have tried that old trick of putting like a matchbook in between the crevice, right where it meets the windshield, and drove it around, and they said they couldn't hear any creaking, but when they finally got it up to speed, they could hear the creaking. So then they looked at the windshield cowl, and they washed it, they dried it, and they tried looking for any movement or looseness right around there, and they told me, well, there's a little bit, and they could only conclude that the squeaking was coming not from the inside of the truck but from the outside of the truck, and that this was the culprit. But there's actually two pieces here. There is the black plastic piece, which actually buttons up underneath the hood, and I'm not sure exactly where. There might actually be some sheet metal screws that actually hold it down anywhere close towards the firewall or something. But anyways, they said that the noise that I was hearing from the inside sounded like it was coming from the dash, but it was really coming from the windshield where it met the cowl. Okay, so that would be something pretty easy for them to fix, right? Well, they couldn't see that any of this was the actual hard plastic meeting the glass on the windshield. So they thought, well, maybe this was getting brittle. So of course they elect to say, well, you could just replace this whole piece, the whole entire windshield cowl, if you wanted to, because maybe that got dry and brittle, and the brittleness touching the glass was making the squeaking sound. Well, I didn't want to pay however much it was to replace this entire piece of plastic and the rubber gasket. So what they ended up doing is they just pried it up, put pieces of felt in between where it meets the windshield, and they noticed that it went away. Well, whenever I took it for a test drive with whoever fixed the truck, the squeaking was still there. So they didn't fix anything. Of course, they didn't charge me anything, thank God, but I've been living with that squeaking ever since I've had the truck, and I've had it now for a little under a year. But it's my day off, and I just decided I've got to find out where the hell the squeaking is coming from. So pulled open the hood, and I tried looking for where this windshield cowl, the black plastic piece, not the gasket where it meets the glass, is mounted. And I noticed, now it was there, but really all that's holding the windshield wiper cowl to the windshield are these little guys. And I noticed, and there's the other one on the other side, I took them both out, but they were in this hole here, which the ID measures right at 10 millimeters. Was just hanging out in there, and it was not firmly in place, and you could just move it around with your fingertips. So I was like, oh my God, this can't be this easy. So then I took my hand and started jiggling the windshield wiper cowl to see if it made the same squeaking sound I was complaining about all this time. Well, of course it's not doing it now, but whenever the truck does get dirty, small granules of sand and dirt and everything get underneath this gasket here, and when these little guys get worn out, it doesn't hold this whole cowl piece in place, and every time you hit the smallest vibration, on the highway or in your neighborhood, what you're hearing is this windshield wiper cowl squeaking up against the glass. So it's not coming from inside the truck, it's actually coming from outside the truck, and it's because these guys break down, they get worn out, and then they're just hanging out in there and they're not holding it in place. So then that starts jiggling this whenever the car is moving, and that's what's getting the squeaking sound. So just replace these guys. Go to your local hardware store, Lowe's or Home Depot or Ace, whatever, and just try to find something that is just like the ones that came on the truck stock that will expand once you start screwing in this little Phillips screw. This one's plastic. It's all an entirely plastic piece. We get something that fits in there almost flush with the interior of that opening in the body panel, and then insert that screw and gradually get it to tighten up and open up inside there, and it ought to hold it like it should, and you won't be hearing that squeaking sound anymore. Hope this helps, guys.